Larry King is a man that needs no introduction, but just in case you
go ahead, introduce me.
This man is a broadcasting legend, having conducted over 50,000 interviews in the course of his illustrious career. And RT got a chance to sit down with the legend himself, Mr. Fantastic. Now, one of your last interviews was with Vladimir Putin, and you chose to interview him again after a 10-year gap, and that's even despite the fact that he wasn't even the president at that time. What was behind that decision?
Well, I didn't make the decisions. My producers, I know how to do broadcasts. They know how to book guests, so they booked the guests over the years. I got along with Mr. Putin very well. When I met him at the UN conference some years, I didn't know it was 10 years ago. Was it 10?
10 years.
But I immediately had a good rapport with him. I liked him very much. And so we thought of who would be the best guest. And I don't know if this is generally known, but he asked to come on.
He did?
Yeah, he said he watched the show almost all the time, and he knew I was leaving, and he'd like to come on. And then he invited me to come. I'm coming next May to Moscow to spend some time with him. I had hard to explain, I had an affinity with him. You try to get that with a lot of guests. I really had it with, as I said to some friends of mine, Vladimir Putin, if he were American, would be a successful American politician. He has a quality, this had nothing to do with politics. They change a room. They have a certain magnetism, and he has it, whatever it is, he has it. And you really like that in a guest.
You were talking about the it that he brings to the room, the sort of magnetism and spark. But when you interviewed him back in the beginning, in his beginning, in 2008, the year 2000, when he was just elected president, what did you think of him? What was your impression?
I liked him right away. The crew liked him. The crew that was with me, we were in New York for the UN conference. I loved his answer when I asked him what happened with the submarine, and you said it sunk. But that wonderful pause he took, I find him engaging. I liked him right away. There's certain people that come into your life that you like. I liked him.
You mentioned, of course, that I think that bit of the interview that most people remember or talk about, the it sunk episode. Do you think that was his lack of experience in public speaking, or was that him being kind of showing you that he didn't want to talk about a subject that was clearly very emotional and painful for him?
In retrospect, the answer was kind of brilliant.
Why?
You don't want to get in depth on something. You don't have all the facts. Obviously, the world of facts were not known. So what better way to say something than it sunk? I mean, it's one of those television moments that, for example, I was honored last week with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Emmys, and that clip was they ran a whole series of clips, and that was included. And the whole audience roared at the way, because he took that pause. I think it was a combination of being new and being direct. George Bush told me that he liked him very much, and he liked him right away. I think he has that sense about him.
I guess it's the force of the personality, isn't it, that draws you?
And he has that personality.
Did you compare him, the man that you talked to last year, to the man that you talked to 10 years ago? Did he seem to you like he changed, that he'd gotten more savoir-faire, so to speak?
To be fair, the first time I was with him. The second time was satellite. Satellite's different.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, dear.